Speaking of gross, the end of UNC's football season.
It was bad.
Bad. Very bad.
Yeah.
UNC football last night in the Duke's Mayo Bowl lost to West Virginia 30-10. And honestly, kind of a fitting end for their year. They finished the season 8-5 after starting off 6-0. They lost 5 of their last 7 games. And the 2 wins they had over the last 7 games, we're counting the bowl game. They beat Duke in triple overtime when Duke had their third-string quarterback, a true freshman in Grayson Loftus, and they beat Campbell, an FCS program from right here in the state of North Carolina, down in Bowie's Creek. Those are their 2 wins in the final 7 games of the year. You got blown out by your rival on the road in NC State to close out the regular season. You had the bad loss to Virginia, then you followed it up with a bad loss to Georgia Tech. Those were your first 2 losses. And that's how you ended your year. With one loss after another, after another, after another. A lot of late season collapses, including last season for North Carolina. They had a late season collapse too. Mack Brown, this is after last night's game, on having late season collapses and if there's something he's still trying to figure out from year to year.
Well, it's something I'm still trying to figure out, or I damn sure would have fixed it. I mean, that's it. But, again, you look at everything. You look at who you're playing, you look at who you're playing with, you look at your depth. Some people will say we're not strong enough. We wear out. We get tired in the second half of the year. Some people will say we don't play enough players and we get tired. It's not like the coaches took off after 9-1 last year and decided they weren't going to coach anymore. It's not like they don't want to win. So, some people, West Virginia is so proud of their team tonight, and they won 9, we won 8. It's just that they won in the end. Last year we won the same amount they won. People were griping because we didn't finish well. So, I think you just gotta figure out who you are, and I gotta figure out what we can do better and try to do that. And that's my job.
Second row.
And like I said, there's a lot of opinions with people that don't have any information. I'm the one that has to make decisions. Those opinions are easy. Those decisions are hard.
Yeah, they are a lot of hard decisions. And here's the thing we mentioned is like, well, West Virginia won 9 games just like we did last year. Everyone's praising them. Well, your expectations were different. Does WVU have a top 3 NFL draft pick in Drake May? No, they don't. Do they have the 4- and 5-star recruits that you do? Probably not. I'm sorry, the standard was different. Your team got ranked to the top 10. I know Mack has said in the past, well, we didn't rank ourselves there. I'm sorry, did you not feel that you were that good of a program? We all saw you all play. You played the first 4 games of the season, had some really good wins. Gosh, the season opener against South Carolina was phenomenal. Phenomenal. You routed South Carolina. Your defense had 9 sacks in that game. 9. And then after 4 games, Tez Walker becomes eligible. Tez Walker is going to be a top 50 pick in the NFL draft as wide receiver. You added to your team. And then, gosh, the second game we saw him out there playing, it's like, oh, wait a second. I got a top 50 pick at wide receiver paired with a top 3 pick at quarterback, and I got an All-American running back, and I got a pretty good tight end and some other good receivers. Oh. Yeah. And the way your defense actually played to start the season, gosh, the first half of the year, every single week on the show I produce in the afternoons from 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan and Raleigh The Drive, every single week I was praising how great your team was on third down. I was praising you. So yeah, I was like, this defense turned the corner from last season. And then the wheels fell off. You lost to Virginia. Okay, you get 1. But then how'd you follow it up? You had a stinker against Georgia Tech too. I go, well, wait a second. Well, yeah, your standards are different than that of West Virginia's coming into the year. You lost 5 of 7 games. Even if you had won yesterday, you had reached 9 wins. I'm sorry, your 9 wins didn't feel as good as what NC State's felt like because they finished their year strong.
And they had a lot more to overcome.
They had a ton of adversity. Some of it kind of, lack of a better term, self-inflicted because guys within the program electing to not play the rest of the season in redshirt and stuff. I get that. Sometimes that's stuff out of the head coach's control. But guess what? That team rallied together. They banded together through it. So, yeah, your standard this season was different than everyone else's. And your standard should be higher than West Virginia's. West Virginia is a middle-of-the-pack Big 12 school. That's what they are. Middle-of-the-pack Big 12 school. Now, West Virginia has had some years in the past. Gosh, I remember the Pat White days. Anyone else out here remember those? I do. Those days were fun to watch. With Rich Rodriguez and Steve Slayton and those guys, they're not that anymore. They're far from it. So, yeah, your season sputtered. Absolutely sputtered. I mean, gosh, WVU beat Pitt 17-6. They got blown out by Penn State this season. Like, West Virginia didn't have any big wins. They beat BYU. Cool. Your standard at Carolina, much higher than West Virginia's. And yeah, you do have a lot of things to figure out because, as you acknowledged, the last two seasons, you flamed out at the end of the year. I don't know if that is how you manage your personnel during the season, how you manage practices during the season, how you approach games from week to week. You know, is there something you got to do mid-season? Is there a change that you've been making that you shouldn't have been, or is there one that you need to change that you haven't been doing? I don't know that. That's something for you to figure out. But the trend is there. You did it last year, and it happened again this year where you flamed out. Mack Brown was also just characterizing the season. All right, Mack Brown, you start off the year 6-0, but you ended 8-5. Summarize this season for us.
Yeah, the thing I just talked to Jones Angel. I talked to the team. You're 9-1 last year. You didn't finish well. Part of it's scheduled, but still you got to beat some good teams to win. And then you're 6-0 this year, and you didn't finish well. So we got to figure out why we're not finishing well. We're so close. We don't want to hang around 8-9. We said we needed to get there. Now we've gotten there, and we got to get over that hump to get to more. So. My job the next month or 6 months will be to figure out why are we doing so well early and not doing well late. And you can look at everything and everybody's got an opinion. I'm the one that has to make the decisions. Opinions are easy and unimportant. Decisions are what's important, and they have consequences, and I'm the one that has to make those. So I've got to really figure out, and I can't figure it out right now, why we can't get over the hump at the end. And I've got to figure that out. I've been doing this a long time. So I'll look hard. I'll sit down and talk to every coach. I'll ask them their opinions because they see it every day. I'll ask players their opinions, but we got to get it fixed.
I talked about for last year, scheduling. Last year, Carolina lost to Georgia Tech, NC State, Clemson, and Oregon to close out the year. Okay, part of it's scheduling. Yeah, because Oregon was a top 15 team. You lost to them by 1 in a bowl game in the Holiday Bowl. Okay, close one. Clemson, you lost to them in the ACC championship game. Okay, Clemson was a better team last year than what they were this year. But you lost at home to NC State. That had Ben Finley starting at quarterback. Ben Finley was the 4th starting quarterback for them that season. They started with Devin Leary. Then it was Jack Chambers right after that. Then it was MJ Morris. Then Ben Finley. And they went into your place and won. And the week before that, you lost at home to Georgia Tech again. So, yeah, part of it's scheduling. But even this season, you lost to Virginia. You lost to Georgia Tech. You beat Campbell. Then you had to win in triple overtime against Duke. Then you lost against Clemson, which is not that great of a team this season. And then you got blown out at NC State. So, yeah, I'm sorry. It's not just your schedule at the end of the season. You want to be an elite program, got to win these ones. It's as simple as that.
Don't play with your food.
Even if they are Pop-Tarts.
Yes, well, because you don't like Pop-Tarts.
I don't like Pop-Tarts.